Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and very good morning from Lahore. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I am Dr. Javed Iqbal Kokar, Professor of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology. And we have started with the law related to medical men, and this is the second lecture on this topic. And in this lecture, I will be discussing law courts. So the contents of my talk will be that we'll be understanding what are law courts, who is judge, what is meant by judgment, and what are various level of courts in our country, that is courts of first instance, courts of second instance, and courts of third instance. And then the highest level, which is the Supreme Court in the country, and a federal Shariat court, which is prevalent in Pakistan. Now, the courts are basically the places where the people bring their grievances against each other to seek remedies. Courts are the places where the people bring their grievances against each other to seek remedies. And when any individual is accused of a breach of criminal law or contract, that is civil law, which is dealt with under the civil law, the complaint is brought before the court of law for trial, and then the decision on the issue is given. A judge presides over the hearing and records all the evidences in the written form and presented to him by both the parties. He finally concludes the proceeding given his decision in writing, which is known as the judgment. Now the court's layout. This is the general court layout, that towards the head there is a judge. On its one side is the typist and the other side is the reader. And there is a space for the prosecution, which is labeled as P, and the defense lawyers, which is labeled as D, and the law officers are standing in front. Then there is a waiting area for the advocates, waiting seats for the public, and a record room. So this is a general layout for the courtroom. And this is a picture showing the courtroom layout. And this is another picture showing the courtroom. So all the civil and criminal courts have three levels in our country. The courts of the first instance, courts of the second instance, and courts of the third instance. The courts of the first instance, they are having small jurisdiction consisting of a particular area, and it hears the cases which are of ordinary nature. And these are presided over by magistrate for criminal cases and civil judge for the civil cases. Then the courts of the second instance, they are above the courts of the first instance, and they have a wider jurisdiction, especially constituting the whole district. And it is presided over by district and session judge for both civil and criminal cases. And it also hears appeals against the decision of the lower courts. Then the courts of the third instance, these are the highest court of the province. They are the high courts, highest of the province, and it is presided over by the judge of the high court. And this court has civil and criminal jurisdiction and hears mainly the appeal against the decisions of the lower courts. So this is general layout of the courts. The organization of the lower courts, that is first the area court, that is first instance, then the district courts, second instance, then the high courts, which is of the province, and then the Supreme Court of the country, that is the highest court. And both they are for civil and the criminal courts. So all the courts, whether the magistrate, session judge, or even the high courts, they ask the medical practitioner to appear before the court. And this is for the recording of the evidence concerning the examinee, which has been examined by the doctor. His evidence is most important for the decision of the case because he's the technical expert and his evidence is valuable. The courts have all the powers to call for the witness for the evidence. So the summary of today's lecture is that we have talked about various law courts. What are law courts? what is judge, what is meant by judgment, and what are various levels of the courts, that is first level instance, second level, and the third level, and the Supreme Court, which is the highest level, and the Federal Shariat Court, which is also the highest court of the country. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel, and this is my channel name, Dr. Javed Iqbal Kokhar.